the Art of Badassery, bite-sized bits of wisdom. I'm Mahara Wayman, your guide on this journey to unlock your inner badass with short and snappy episodes packed with practical tips and a side of humor. Whether you're looking to find clarity, master your mindset, or embrace the power of saying no, you're in the right place. Let's dive into these bite-sized nuggets of wisdom that will empower you to create the life you've always wanted. Why? Because you deserve it. Now, let's unleash your badassery. Hey, beautiful badass. Welcome back to Bite-Sized Bits of Wisdom. I'm your host, Mahara Wayman. And today I'm diving into one of the juiciest and most transformative topics, self-love. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Self-love is just bubble baths, retail therapy, and saying affirmations in the mirror, right? Well, not exactly. While those things can be a part of it, self-love goes so much deeper. It's about how you show up for yourself, especially on the tough days when it feels like the world is working against you. It's about being your own best advocate, your loudest cheerleader, and your kindest friend. Here's the truth. Self-love, it's radical. It's an act of rebellion in a world that constantly encourages us to put ourselves last. But you know what? You deserve to be first on your own list because, as the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. So grab that cup and let's make sure it's overflowing. Now, I have to admit, I wasn't always the poster child for self-love. In fact, for years, I was the complete opposite. I had this default setting where I would put everyone else's needs ahead of my own. Family, friends, coworkers, sometimes even strangers. Need someone to volunteer? I was there. Need someone to stay late at work? Absolutely. And of course, this quadrupled when I became a parent. Now, at first, it felt good to be the dependable one, the go-to person. But over time, it became exhausting. And the truth is, I didn't even notice how drained I was until my body made me notice. I was tired, irritable, and resentful. And truthfully, this wasn't at anyone else, but at myself. I hit a breaking point one day when I realized that while I was out there giving 100% to everyone else, I was giving myself the scraps. That wake-up call changed everything. So learning to love myself wasn't an overnight process, peeps, and I want you to really understand that. It felt awkward and even selfish at times. But let me tell you, once I committed to this journey, it transformed my life. Now, I love myself enough to say no, to set boundaries, and to prioritize my own joy. And the wildest part, by loving myself more, I actually have more to give to the people that I care about. It's funny how that works, right? So let's unpack what self-love really looks like. Number one, it's knowing your worth. Self-love means believing deep in your soul that you're enough. Not because of what you do or how you look or where you live, but because of who you are. I say this all the time to my clients. The mere fact that you exist, you're enough. You matter. Okay, number two, it's setting boundaries. A boundary isn't a barrier. It's a way to honor your needs while maintaining healthy relationships. Boundaries can be as simple as saying, I'm sorry, I'm not available for that, or as profound as walking away from a toxic situation. It's showing yourself grace. We all mess up, right? Everybody's nodding. Yes, I'm sure some of you are even laughing. Self-love means not beating yourself up when you stumble, but instead ask yourself, okay, what can I learn from this? Ties right back into mindset. And what can I learn from this? Also, number four, self-love is a practice. Just like yoga or meditation, self-love takes consistency. Some days you'll nail it. Other days you'll struggle, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up for yourself, right? As consistently as possible. Here are 3 red flags that you might need to level up your self-love. Number one, you feel guilty for putting yourself first. That guilt, it's society's way of keeping you small. But guess what? You're not here to play small. Your needs and your happiness matter. So ixnay the guilt, peeps. Number two, you say yes when you really want to say no. This is a classic one. So I invite you to start small with intentional no's and watch how liberating it feels. Third red flag, you're perpetually burnt out. Being burnt out isn't a badge of honor. So if you think that, please take a deep breath and just say no. Being burnt out is a sign that you've been running on empty for far too long. It's time to refuel, my friend. Here's how I think of self love. It's like taking care of a sourdough starter. At first, you're all about it. You're feeding it every day, making sure it's bubbling, maybe even giving it a name. I've never done that, but some people do. But over time, life gets busy and sometimes you forget. That's okay. You can always pick it back up, feed it, and get it thriving again. Self love works the same way. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be intentional. Oh, and don't worry, nobody's grading you on it. Okay, here's some tips to cultivate self love if this is sounding like a foreign language to you. Celebrate small wins daily. Yes, start a win journal. This is where you're going to write down one thing that you're proud of each day. And it doesn't have to be groundbreaking. Maybe you drank enough water. Maybe you finally did the laundry. Celebrate it, right? This simple practice rewires your brain to focus on your achievements instead of your shortcomings. Create a self love ritual. Think of something that feels sacred to you. Maybe it's a morning cup of tea, a walk in nature, 5 minutes of deep breathing. Whatever it is, make it non negotiable. That's your daily reminder to honor yourself. You're worth it. And speak kindly to yourself. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, oh, I'm such an idiot, or I will never get this right, just pause. Would you say that to your BFF? No? Then don't say it to yourself. Replace it with something like, okay, I'm learning, or I'm doing the best I can. Kindness starts with you. So here's what I want you to remember from today's bite-sized bits of wisdom episode. Number one, self-love is essential. It's not selfish and it's not optional. Number two, boundaries are an act of love, not just for you, but for everyone in your life. And self-compassion is your superpower. It turns mistakes into lessons and setbacks into comebacks. All right, beautiful badass, it's time to put this wisdom into action if you're ready to dive deeper into self love and create a life that feels aligned and joyful. I've got something special for you. Join me for Unleash, a 6-month journey back to peace, clarity, and fulfillment. This is your opportunity to reconnect with your true self, set powerful boundaries, and step into the life you've always dreamed of. Head on over to my website, www.mindfulnesswithmahara.com, for all the details. And remember, self-love isn't just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to everyone around you. Keep shining, keep thriving. I'll see you next time on Bite-Sized Bits of Wisdom. Until then, stay badass. I hope you enjoyed this Bite-Sized Bits of Wisdom podcast. Tune in again next week.